Have you ever wondered if a single letter attached to your blood type has been quietly influencing your life from the very beginning? Not your personality, not your intelligence, but the way your body responds to infections, injuries, and even certain diseases. If your blood type is O positive, what you're about to hear might completely change the way you think about your own biology. Because hidden inside your DNA is a genetic blueprint that scientists have spent decades trying to understand. And while there is no literal dark secret encoded inside type O positive blood, there are surprising biological differences that most people never learn about. Some may work in your favor, others may not. By the end of this video, you'll understand why researchers continue studying type O blood, how your genes influence your blood group, and why one tiny genetic difference can affect far more than just blood transfusions. Before we uncover the first discovery, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week we explore the fascinating science hidden inside the human body in ways that are easy to understand. Now let's begin where every mystery starts. Your DNA. Most people think blood is simply red liquid carrying oxygen through the body. But your blood is actually covered with microscopic molecular markers. Think of them like tiny identification badges attached to every red blood cell. These badges tell your immune system one very important message. This cell belongs here. The badges are called antigens. If you have type A blood, your cells display A antigens. Type B displays B antigens. Type AB displays both. But type O is different. Instead of carrying A or B antigens, type O red blood cells lack both of these major surface markers. That single difference changes how your immune system interacts with blood and explains why type O blood plays such an important role in emergency medicine. But here's where the story becomes much more interesting. Your blood type wasn't assigned randomly. Long before you were born, your parents passed specific versions of the ABO gene to you. That gene acts like a biological instruction manual. Depending on which version you inherit, your body builds different surface molecules on your red blood cells. If you inherited the genetic combination responsible for type O blood, your cells develop in a distinctly different way from those of someone with type A, B, or AB blood. This isn't a flaw. It isn't a superpower. It's simply another example of how small changes in DNA create natural biological diversity among humans. But scientists noticed something unexpected. When researchers compared thousands of medical records across different populations, they found that blood types sometimes appeared alongside differences in the likelihood of developing certain conditions. That didn't mean blood type directly caused those conditions. It meant researchers had discovered patterns worth investigating. For example, several studies have found that people with type O blood tend to have a lower average risk of developing certain blood clots compared with non-O blood groups. One possible explanation involves naturally lower levels of clotting proteins such as von Willebrand factor and factor VIII. These proteins help blood clot after an injury. Lower average levels may reduce clot formation in some situations, but they can also slightly increase bleeding risk in others. In biology, advantages and disadvantages often come together. Nature rarely gives without taking something in return. And that's exactly what makes genetics so fascinating. The same inherited characteristic can be helpful in one circumstance while presenting challenges in another. But the surprises don't end there. Researchers have also explored possible relationships between blood type and susceptibility to certain infectious diseases. Again, this doesn't mean blood type determines whether someone will become ill. Many factors, including age, environment, vaccination, lifestyle, and overall health, play much larger roles. However, blood group molecules can influence how some pathogens interact with human cells, making this an active area of scientific research. So if your blood type is O positive, your DNA isn't hiding a dark secret. It's carrying a unique genetic variation that has been shaped by thousands of years of human evolution. And understanding that variation may help scientists learn more about immunity, disease, and the remarkable diversity of the human body. But one question remains. If these genetic differences have existed for thousands of years, why did evolution preserve them instead of allowing one blood type to replace all the others? The answer takes us back to ancient epidemics, survival, and one of the greatest evolutionary balancing acts in human history. So, why didn't evolution eliminate every blood type except the best one? The answer reveals one of nature's most fascinating survival strategies. For thousands of years, humanity has battled countless diseases, changing climates, and shifting environments. Every generation faced different biological threats. Some people survive because of strength, others because of luck, but many survive because of tiny genetic variations passed down through their DNA. Blood type is one of those variations. Instead of creating one perfect blood type, evolution preserved several because each offered different advantages depending on the environment. Imagine humanity as a giant investment portfolio. Putting everything into one option is risky. But spreading those investments creates resilience when conditions suddenly change. Nature works in much the same way. Different blood groups provide different biological characteristics, allowing populations to adapt to changing diseases over thousands of years. Scientists believe this diversity helped improve the chances that at least part of the population would survive major epidemics. And that's why your blood type isn't simply a medical label. It's part of an evolutionary story stretching back tens of thousands of years. But there's another fascinating fact about O positive that surprises many people. Although O negative is known as the universal emergency blood donor, O positive is actually the most common blood type in many parts of the world. Millions of people share it. That makes O positive incredibly important for hospitals and blood banks because it's frequently needed for transfusions involving other O positive patients. In other words, your blood could someday help save another person's life. But scientists have continued asking an even bigger question. Could blood type influence health beyond transfusions? Over the years, researchers have explored possible associations between blood groups and conditions such as cardiovascular disease, stomach ulcers, certain infections, and blood clotting disorders. Some studies have reported statistical differences between blood groups. Others have found little or no meaningful relationship. This is exactly how science works. Individual studies raise questions. Repeated research tests those questions. Only after many independent investigations can stronger conclusions be made. That's why responsible scientists avoid saying blood type determines your future. Your genes influence your biology, but they do not write your destiny. Your daily habits still matter far more. The food you eat, the amount you exercise, the quality of your sleep, managing stress, avoiding smoking, controlling blood pressure. These choices have a much greater impact on long-term health than blood type alone. Think of your DNA as the blueprint for a house. The blueprint determines the structure. But how well that house is maintained depends on the owner. Even an excellent blueprint can't compensate for years of neglect. Likewise, a person with any blood type can improve their health through consistent healthy choices. This is one of the biggest misconceptions surrounding genetics. People often assume DNA is an unchangeable prediction of their future. In reality, genes interact continuously with your environment. Scientists call this interaction gene expression. While you can't change the blood type you inherited, many biological processes influenced by your genes are also affected by nutrition, physical activity, sleep, and other lifestyle factors. That's why two people with the same blood type can experience completely different health outcomes. Their DNA may begin with similar instructions, but their lives shape how those instructions are expressed. So what is the real dark secret hidden inside O-positive DNA? It's not a curse. It's not a hidden superpower. It's something far more remarkable. A tiny genetic variation inherited before birth has quietly influenced your biology every single day of your life, affecting the molecules on your blood cells, how your immune system recognizes them, and how researchers continue exploring their relationship with human health. What sounds like a simple letter on a medical chart is actually part of an extraordinary genetic system refined through thousands of generations of human evolution. Every drop of your blood carries that history. Every red blood cell tells a story that began long before you were born. And despite everything scientists have already discovered, many questions about blood groups and human biology remain unanswered. That's what makes the human body so incredible. The deeper we investigate, the more mysteries we uncover. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden science behind blood types, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating explorations into genetics, longevity, nutrition, and the incredible biology of the human body.